I've been preaching about our society's over-reliance on the use of technology for quite a while now. According to Decentric XY, the scariest thing about the human race is not artificial intelligence, nuclear war, Donald Trump, or even robots. It's GPS. It references an article published by Bloomberg's U.S. Representative John Garamendi, who made this chilling statement. GPS is a single point of failure for the entire modern economy. No cell phones, no ATM machines will work, and guess who owns the system? Your location data and your safety. The world's governments, and specifically the United States of America. The U.S. was the first country to introduce satellite technology with Global Positioning System, or GPS. Now, a quick explanation of how it works is that there are satellites in orbit around the Earth that send back signals to locator or GPS units on Earth. Using the age-old system of mathematic triangulation, the units can accurately tell where on Earth the unit is. They have amazing uses for vessels, aircraft, car journey planning, and just about every new cell phone has one. Japan has QZSS, Russia has GLONASS, and the People's Republic of China has Beidou navigation satellite system, and not to be outdone, the European Union has Galileo, decidedly the best name. And India uses IRNSS. The US started the top secret system as early as 1973, so you can guess that it is based on 40-year-old technology. Remember your computer 40 years ago? There are huge problems with the system, including how easy it is to fake your location, which is referred to as spoofing. It is an incredibly easy thing to do. This means that your Uber driver can tell you that he or she is closer than they actually are. Your kids can show that they're at a friend's place when they're actually out buying crack. But the risks of GPS are much more serious than faking locations. Terrorist hackers know all about these vulnerabilities to the point where a U.S. Department of Defense military leader, those who designed the system to begin with, stated that the number one thing that keeps me up at night is how much the human race relies on the GPS system when really they shouldn't. So when something does happen to our GPS system, and it's only a matter of time, it could cause massive fatalities. Banks would grind to a halt. Thousands of people who are in need of immediate medical attention would find themselves without. Self-driving vehicles would stop working. Commercial airline pilots carrying thousands of passengers would have to rely on nothing more than their own two eyes, a chart, radar, and a compass. Gee, isn't that just like the old days? That said, fixing the GPS system is a huge task, and it would take decades to upgrade the 24 satellites already orbiting in space, not to mention the cost well into the hundreds of billions of dollars. It's incredibly unlikely that will happen. After all, why would our governments fix something that they consider isn't broken yet? Now, this story comes from a tech company called YK, and it claims to have an answer to all those looming GPS threats. And it's called XYO. Over the past several years, XY has quietly built over 1 million tiny location beacons that help you find and track your lost items. You may already be aware of this technology. Attach one to your keys or even to your pet, and a mobile app will send a signal to alert you where exactly they're hiding. If you like what you see so far, please subscribe and ring the bell to get your next eclectic video. Don't forget to watch the commercials. XYO wants to bridge this new technology called decentralized tech with the real world by tapping into these location beacons. The result is the world's first location-based, trustless, decentralized Oracle network. And here's how it works. Using blockchain technology, in that there's no single centralized authority that makes decisions on behalf of all parties, these tiny location beacons transfer into geominers. These geominers, or sentinels as they're called, run off Bluetooth technology. Because of that, they have a battery life of up to 5 years without charging. When a sentinel comes in contact with another one nearby, they communicate by sharing anonymous location data with the other. As these sentinels move around in the real world, they are collecting data from hundreds of potentially and even thousands of other sentinels. When a sentinel comes in contact with an internet-connected device called a bridge, this data is then shared across the XYO network. Your smartphone can also be used as a bridge by using their app. As of the shooting of this video, XYO is trying to raise funds. Bottom line, owning XY equity allows you to own part of their new technologies. But there's a funny thing. XYO themselves admit that satellites will enhance the XYO network, making it even more robust, reliable, and connected. But that's only the beginning of the downside. Because these sentinels are privately owned, they could be bought by those who may, for whatever reason, want to disrupt a positioning system. It would be even easier to spoof and worse. Because the GPS satellite information is correct when it is sent out, it is our privately owned receivers that are deceiving us, not the government. Coming up, the government solution. Now, these guys at XYO are selling this technology as the new Bitcoin, and we all know who uses Bitcoin: international criminals, terrorists, blackmailers. The U.S. Army is working to limit its dependence on GPS by developing the next generation of navigational technology, including a tiny autonomous chip, the director of the Pentagon's research agency has said. It is claimed that the U.S. military recognized the problem with current GPS systems and are experimenting with DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, the very same research group behind a range of spy technology, and which, by the way, helped invent the internet. It was also the driving force behind the creation of the current global positioning system. DARPA Director Arati Prabhakar states, now it's got to the point where GPS is embedded not just in all our platforms, but in many of our weapons as well as in many civilian devices. But sometimes a capability so powerful that our reliance on it in itself becomes a vulnerability. I think that's where we are today with GPS. But according to the Guardian newspaper, starting in 2010, DARPA has been working on a variety of programs aimed at developing a new navigation and positioning technology. At first, with the goal of extending their reach to places where satellites don't work, such as underwater. But now, amid fears of over-reliance and possibly vulnerabilities of global positioning satellites, experts are looking to create not just a companion, but an alternative to GPS. Right now, that could be a new system that works without satellites, that determines position, time, and direction, all within a 8 cubic millimeter chip that contains 3 gyroscopes, 3 accelerometers, and an atomic clock, which together work as an autonomous navigation system. 8 cubic meters is about the size of a sugar cube. Another approach being worked on would use existing signals such as those coming from broadcast antennas, radios, cell towers, and even lightning to at least temporarily replace GPS signals. That sounds a lot better than using people's smart devices without their approval or knowledge, like XY is suggesting. So XY is kind of like KY. Good if you want to get plucked. Now, please subscribe. Click the bell for notifications. I'm Alan Stokel. Please watch the commercials.